Kabarole District is endowed with a wide range of surface and groundwater sources. The population depends on these sources for household water supply, which is delivered through different technologies like shallow wells, deep boreholes, gravity flow pipe schemes, and protected springs. Access to shallow wells constitutes 47.9%. This is followed by access to protected springs at 24.9% and access to public tap stands at 22.1%. Only 4.2% of the population in the district uses boreholes. Statistically, groundwater access accounts for 52% in Kabarole District. But there are some outstanding questions and issues about the quality of the water. Given the hygiene practices and other human activities that impact directly on the ground, how safe is the water drawn from ground and surface sources? In July 2017, the Ministry of Water and Environment under the Albert Water Management Zone partnered with IRC, the International Water and Sanitation Center, and the Kabarole District Water Office to undertake an assessment of groundwater quality. The water quality analysis was in response to the rampant and reoccurring water-related diseases that were being registered in Kabarole District. National statistics indicate that 68% of patients that visit health facilities are suffering from diseases caused by poor hygiene and sanitation. Of the 116 water sources sampled, 64% were found contaminated, while only 36% passed the test.
This assessment was done on the water sources, not at the households, meaning that the water that people were drawing from these water sources was what was contaminated.
There is a wide range of factors that compromise water safety. Most contaminants are caused by human activities. Particularly in Kabarole District, the survey found that the commonest cause of contamination was poor management of water supply infrastructure and their surroundings, as well as poor hygiene practices at household level. Key among the conditions that contributed to unsafe water was runoff storm rainwater, open defecation, substandard sanitation facilities, and construction of latrines in areas that have high water table. E. coli contamination was particularly high, affecting 80% of the sources. Shallow wells are most affected.
The shallow wells and their formation, the construction of formation, is that people are drawing water from just right below the hand pump. And you can call it surface water, not groundwater. They are constructed in places where water sources, where the water table is high, and water table, when it is high, it is vulnerable to all forms of contamination, either by stormwater, by latrines, because they are so close at the level of where the water is being drawn.
To address the challenge of water safety, IRC Uganda organized a training workshop for district and sub-county technical staff to introduce and promote water safety planning as an approach to control water source contamination. Civil society organizations were also invited to participate in the meeting. Water safety planning is widely recognized as a reliable and effective way of managing water supply to safeguard public health. Water safety planning involves curative measures that bring together community members and technocrats to conduct risk assessment around a particular water source and devise means of how to manage the risks. Applying the water safety planning approach to all sources in the district would mitigate the dangers related to consumption of unsafe water. During the training, risk assessments for water sources were extensively discussed. The safe water chain from catchment to consumption was also discussed. Some of the actions from the safe water planning training included assigning extensive workers to to mobilize communities to form water source committees where they did not exist. The aim was to ensure that water sources are managed and kept in a clean environment to prevent further contamination. After the training, 30 water sources were selected to pilot the water safety planning approach. These were selected from 15 sub-counties in Kabarole District. This borehole is found in Chamahuli Village, Harugongo Sub-County in Kabarole District. It is one of those selected to pilot the water safety planning approach. The sub-county health assistant takes of time to sensitize the community on the importance of maintaining proper hygiene and sanitation of a water source.
I go to water sources to sensitize people on the cleanliness of the water sources, general cleanliness of the water sources, then even how water can be used in their homes, which is safe, even the water chain, how it can be safe for them.
Part of the challenge at Chamahuli borehole was the issue of people sharing water with animals. The family that donated the land on which this borehole sits reared domestic animals. They saw no reason why their animals should not access the water source.
When this man gave us the land for constructing the water source, when he gave it to us, he did not know. He continued grazing from the same land without knowing the animals would contaminate the water source. But we kept on sensitizing him, informing him of the risks, problems that would arise from grazing near the water source.
Following sensitization by the extension staff, the family has complied with the new water safety guidelines of not sharing water sources with animals. Given that the borehole is located near a school, breakdowns are rampant. The school administration was mobilized to participate in water source management, and the outcome was to fence the source. Today, the school and the community have taken ownership of the water source, which has seen constant functionality and improved hygiene.
After we had resolved the committee for the water source, we decided on the school also to pay some fee to contribute on the maintenance of the water source. Even some hours for them to come and fetch water.
In another community, in Kiko, the borehole had to be fenced off and padlocked in order to manage its hygiene and sustain functionality. Community users are expected to fetch water at very specific times of the day, that is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The rest of the day, there is no access to the water source. Godfrey Musabe is a community member and explains why they took the decision to schedule the water.
It was accessible to everybody, but due to rule and regulation which came in and some hinders which were happening, such as you could find someone could pump this borehole up to the extent to destroying. Someone he finds the well is closed, he needs to destroy it. So they decided to put regulation. So in order someone to be committed to use this water, he should what? He should at least pay, if he is a beneficiary, 2,000, non-beneficiary 200. And those who you see that they are coming and burning outside, they are the ones who are non-beneficiaries.
For Asaba Sadrak, the health assistant in Rutete Sub-County, the challenge of groundwater contamination is attributed to technology choices for shallow wells. He says there is need to improve on the covers which are used when making repairs, saying that splashing water easily gets back into the water source.
Raising of this sanitary cover to a level which is above the water splashes will reduce the water contamination within the sanitary chamber for inspection.
As the efforts towards attaining a general clean environment around the water sources gears up, energies are being shifted to household hygiene and sanitation. Extension workers are now sensitizing people on the importance of maintaining sanitation and hygiene at home and how that relates to water safety. The construction of standard latrines to end open defecation is taking center stage. In Kijura Town Council, a campaign was launched in June 2018 to urge leaders to improve sanitation at their households and thus show a good example to their constituents.
When we went around our town council, we found out that many people had no latrines, had no kitchens. When we went to leaders, we found that the difference was very little. Some of the leaders also had no latrines, had no kitchens. So we made this campaign that let us start with ourselves, with leaders. From there, then we go to the local community.
The tea estates have also been brought on board to ensure that sanitation facilities are constructed. This has not been the norm across the tea estates in the town council.
It was realized that all the tea estates, most of the plantations did not have toilets, and that was leading to the contamination of water around the water sources. So we have been undergoing a campaign, start with leaders, and we are urging institutions, the tea factories, to construct toilets in the tea plantations so that all the people that are plucking tea around have a place to go.
For total sanitation and hygiene to be attained, households must be free of open defecation and they must manage waste responsibly. The effects of sanitation on water sources cannot be overemphasized. Jane Kabarole from Chamahuli village says the poor hygiene and sanitation in a home bother her. She says when one's neighborhood remains with poor sanitation conditions, in case of a disease outbreak, she would directly be a victim. But most importantly, household sanitation practices impact directly on the safety of water sources.
Kandi amaka agandi kuba gataba mayonjo nyono bunkuba muyonjo uburwire busobora kwija mu makomu butuhika hitwena nubuletu ensohera nuburaba mu miyaga cyo kubaire kirungi no kubaire ningonza itwena amaka gona tubabe 10 tuwecuma mu makagaitu nuko burwire baraija buturabeho bureke kutuhikaho bukatalibaniza rundi bukatwita hate nabaningonza abantu bona tubebe 10 tube bayonjo.
Jane Kabarole is a sanitation and hygiene role model in her village from whom the community is learning from good hygiene practices. The fact that communities are beginning to appreciate good hygiene and sanitation practices, change is slowly being realized. This has been manifested on the follow-up water samples after undertaking intervention on the selected water sources which were found contaminated.
We have done the follow-up test and the results are the ones that I was disseminating to the people today. There is improvement, a great improvement indeed, and we expect that those ones which are not yet to zero, because we expect 0 coliforms, that is the standard for drinking water. So those ones who are not yet there, but at least we are seeing they are on the road to getting there. So we shall keep on. This activity is going to be continuous.
Going by the latest indicators, results are already promising, justifying that if the water safety plans are stepped up, the contaminated water sources shall be improved and safe for people to drink.
Adopt the practice of water safety plans because it is affordable, it is easy to put in place, and it makes the water sources to keep operational. It is very good. It is a good practice which I want all other people to adopt.
What now remains is for the Kabarole District local government to devise means of scaling up water safety planning to other water sources, since they have been tested and found working, and work is ongoing to redeem the other water source still having traces of contamination.